Hello, friends, and welcome to Salon 5. That's right. We are dipping our toes in the other space station franchise. This evening or afternoon, depending on when and where you are, we are talking about Season 1, Episodes 1 through 11. So the first half. Before we do, please like and subscribe. You can find us in all of the podcast places. We are at Salon Trek on YouTube, podcast platforms, Bluesky, and Twitter. You can even find us over on Patreon if you want to throw a couple of bucks our way to help defray the costs. Certainly appreciated. Bonus content, discounts on our merch store, and just general hilarity found in all of these places. So like and subscribe at Salon Trek everywhere. What's that? The jump gate sequence has been activated. Who's that? It's Trevor. Hello, Trevor. How are you?
I've never jumped into anything, so that's delightful.
Yes.
I'm doing well, thank you.
Looks like we have others coming through the jump gate. It's Joanne.
Okay.
How are you?
Boom! I am well, friends. I am well.
And one more stumbling through that vortex. Here's Will. How you doing, darling?
I'm good. It's been a long time since I've come in anyone else's gate, but you know.
Starting things right. Thank you, Will. Well, friends, it feels like forever ago did a precursor on Babylon 5 generally. We talked generally about the first season. Our good friend here, Joanne, is now through season 2, so we're able to talk about episodes in depth. And so we thought we would do that and give each episode the due that it is deserved. So we're going to be talking about these in half-season increments. And don't worry, there will be no thumbs involved. As you saw in my encounter suit, I don't have any thumbs, so we'll be coming up with new ways of discussing these episodes. So I don't know what Will's doing, but
I have no thumbs.
It's working. Yes, everybody. No, where did my thumbs go? All right, y'all. Joanne, you're new to the franchise. How are you finding Babylon 5?
I absolutely love it so far. Actually, I just started season 3 a few days ago, but I haven't gotten far in season 3, but I'm really enjoying it a lot. I see the parallels to some of my favorite Trek, but then it goes completely in a whole new direction in a lot of things, and in a way that I enjoy. So I'm loving it.
Awesome. All right. Should we just hop in, Trevor? Do you want to kick things off with episode 1?
I would love to kick things off with episode 1, Stanley.
Please do.
Episode 1, Midnight on the Firing Line. Sinclair tries to calm things down after a Narn attack on a peaceful Centauri agricultural colony rekindles old hatreds.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. I don't know if they're that old. They feel like they're current hatreds, but I don't completely disagree. This is a lovely description of this episode. Go ahead.
I was going to say, do they ever explicitly say when the Narn occupation ends? Because they were free during the Earth Minbari War, so it's been at least 10 to 15 years, and they would have needed to recover a little bit to be as involved in the war as they were. So.
I don't, Joanne, do you remember, like, you're obviously watching these more recently than
I know. I don't it hasn't been long, I don't think. I think you're right, Stan, but I don't just know the number. Yeah.
I think it's like 20 years or less, and they were there. I know that they were there about 100 years.
That tracks.
Yeah.
It was a long time, but yeah, I'm trying to look it up. To see when there was
every audience, sit tight. This is what Salon 5
I'm researching.
It's a very slow research project.
It's a good question. I was like, when did it happen? 2109 is when it started according to this. Yeah. And then it lasted till 2231.
Okay, so it's been about 50
So it was
years.
about 100 years, yeah. And then it was a recent, yeah, they only hadn't been occupied for about 50.
Yeah.
Occupied. Okay, fine, whatever. Occupied. They weren't occupied for about 50 years, give or take.
So a generation or two. Well, 2 generations. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I don't know how.
So
yeah.
It feels like it's, and that tracks with kind of my feeling from the rest of the story, because it feels like it's enough for young Narn to not really remember or have any knowledge of, but for people like Jakar to obviously have very strong feelings, including, I don't know when this happens, so I don't want to spoil anything by getting into anything too descriptive, but Jakar talking about, was it his uncle or his father?
Both.
The treatment by the Centauri, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just saw him have a thing with his uncle, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But all of that is to say the thing that stands out for me about this episode is that, as somebody who watched this when it aired, the 1 year wait between The Gathering and this episode was brutal. We complain now about the gap between season 2 and 3 of Strange New Worlds, but like this was, you give me a pilot and then you're like, all right, you might get this show in about a year. It was for a young little
the Battlestar Galactica reboot, where we had the miniseries and it kind of ends, and it was like I completely forgot about it, and then the show came out and I was like, oh wait, this was good. Yeah,
absolutely. The biggest difference here being obviously some character changes.
Yeah.
Right, but it would be really hard because it's, what is it, serialized too. So you're just like, what happened? Like, I could not imagine. Like, there's another podcast, I won't call their name, but they're like rewatching it. I'm like,
I'm kidding.
Yeah. I'm not quick enough to figure out the rhyme. They're rewatching it in the order like it aired, so they 30 years from the date it aired, so they're actually taking the breaks, like, which I think is insane. So I'm like, you're gonna be like on a billion-year podcast talking about this, so maybe it's content forever. I don't know.
I mean, well, look at us trying to stretch content by dipping into new franchises. I get it.
Yeah,
I guess, but it'd be like watching Star Trek in not only in release order, but on the release date, and then having to wait. Like, oof. What?
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, join us in 60 years when we're finally caught up with this wonderful series. Speaking of character changes, what did we think of the most obvious character change, which was out with Takashima and in with Ivanova?
I started watching the show by the time Ivana was on. I didn't see The Gathering when it premiered.
Okay.
So to me, it was like a prequel. And I remember watching it and being like, oh, she's cool. I wonder what happened to her. I would have wanted both, not one or the other. But I love Ivanova. It's rough in the first season, but not her fault.
I actually like the stark contrast between Ivanova and Takashima. I don't know. Takashima was fine, but I liked the kind of like hard line, don't play with me, I'm in command, kind of stance that Ivanova has. So I actually liked her a little better.
And Joanne, you're caught up through season 3, so you know about something that happens with Talia toward the end of season 2.
I do. Oh my gosh, the very special episode.
Special episode. A fun fact is that his original concept was that was going to be Takashima that had the personality.
Oh.
That she was going to be the plant, which we'll talk about months from now when we get to the latter half of season 2. But that was the original plan.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I also have a lot of thoughts about that, but we'll get to
Hmm. The other character change was Lita is out for now. Talia Winters is in. Andrea Thompson. I love her voice.
Yeah.
She has a very,
There's something about a woman in the 90s who had kind of a husky voice.
yes.
There's just something about it. And I'm like, yeah, give me that. I need that. Something about that. But yeah, that's one character change that, like, you know, is that a spoiler? When did she
Joanna's seen that far.
Oh, okay. So she's seen that it switches, but like, it's interesting that it does, because it, I don't know, like the two characters are so different. I don't know if one could have done the other, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
because I think Trevor, you would know better than me. Wasn't the plan was Talia's gift from Who's His Face was going to prove to be powerful enough to help with the shadows, but then since she left, they went with Lita being augmented by the Vorlons instead.
mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, you are correct.
Hmm.
I'm like, wait, am I remembering that, or do I just love that idea because you just said it?
Because I also can't remember if we're getting to that episode today, but I know, like, in an episode in the first season, she's given a gift from her former lover. I love the way that she describes two telepaths banging it out. It's like all of their defenses drop, and like you just like it's something that I've always wondered about Beta Zeds in Star Trek. Like, what is it like when two telepaths drop their guard? You know, yeah, I love Talia. And then we have one more character change to discuss. The old doctor's out, the new hot doctor's in.
But Hot Doctor isn't here yet.
Oh, is he not? Oh, he comes in episode 2? I thought he was.
Like his first appearance is in Soul Hunter.
Oh,
episode 2. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. But Dr. Kyle is gone. They're just waiting for Dr. Franklin.
Dr. Kyle.
Well, never mind. We're not talking about him yet. We're talking about Midnight on the Firing Line and nothing else. We certainly haven't had any other tangents thus far, so we're going to stay focused.
Franklin is very hot, though. Good God. Even if that's not your type, you can't deny, right? That he's a very good
who is that person for whom he is not their type?
I mean, you know, some people like ugly people. I don't know, but not me. But
no, not me. No.
I could never. So Midnight on the Firing Line. I think the costumes. It's funny, like the budget on this show was lacking, right? But what they did a lot with very little. Each culture is very distinct. It's not everybody in the same Narn suit. They all look different enough, at least. The prosthetic work is really amazing, and setting up the station, like this pilot does this as a pilot, sort of, since it had been so long since The Gathering, sets up the premise really well. This is a station where we work shit out, and Londo's a mess, Jakar's an asshole, and their journey is going to be incredible.
Yeah, I see Joel saying it was shot in an old hot tub factory. And I really actually like the starkness kind of the set. Like, it works for me. Because like I said, I think they invested a little more in the people and the costumes. But it also, you know, it just gave it a really, I don't know, what's the theater thing, Will? Is it black box or whatever?
Yeah, it's very, it does feel like more so than like its comparison of Star Trek. It does feel more theater. It feels like it does feel like a black box set. Yeah, you're right. The way it's lit and the way stuff's kind of staged and the way that everything is kind of laid out, it feels very theatery. So that's a good point. I realized that's like one of the, I never realized that until you just said it.
Yeah, like the commander's office is a conference room, is a mess hall, is a ceremonial space is
Right.
anything and everything it needed to be.
But it's not just that though. You can, like in Star Trek, there's a ceiling. Like they're always showing the ceiling. Babylon 5, there's no ceiling, and for some reason, I like psychically know there's no ceiling. Like those walls just end. Like there's no overhead lights. It's probably stage lighting or camera lighting and things. It's not like there is no ceiling on any of those rooms, which I think is so funny that you can kind of almost feel it. Yeah. There's nothing there. If they pointed the camera up, you'd get like
the angular doors, which are like designed for like if we were in space and there was a problem, they could at least fall into place with what gravity we have due to the spin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although, speaking of doors, one thing that I've noticed throughout the entire, like, not that we're gonna let's spend several minutes talking about doors because that's exciting. No, but just since we're talking about the set, I think it's really funny that it took me probably 3 or 4 years of watching this show to realize that, like, apparently anyone can just walk into the commander's office because there's no fucking door.
Yeah.
There's no door in that room.
And they do. People just waltz in all the time.
Yes. It's
Which
very
is
strange.
wild. Yeah.
My favorite part is whenever they're talking about the thing they don't want anyone to know. Let's go to my office. Why? Everyone can go there.
No door.
You might as well go to the bar. I mean,
Go somewhere with
same,
a door.
same
You might as well
thing.
go to your office on the command deck because that has just as much privacy over in that little corner as your actual office does.
Right.
I also love that CNC is tiny, and like it like command and control really is just okay. We're bringing ships in and out most of the time, and so you don't need like you're not navigating or anything. And so at first I thought it's wild that CNC is so small, but then the first time we see a ship bridge, it's like 2 or 3 times the size. And then I was like, oh yeah, well, it's more complicated navigating through space than just sitting there and moving ships in and out. But I also love and I love the even though it's all touchscreen, it feels more tactile than, no offense to the Akutas, but like the L cars, like a lot of the L cars, it looks so fucking complicated. Like it's another language. On Babylon 5, you've got a keyboard and you've got a few buttons that like you can sense like, okay, my 5 key functions are over here on the right, some sub functions are on the left, and then I can type out whatever I need in the middle. Like having a keyboard just makes sense to me. Feels real.
Yeah, it does feel closer to like what space would really feel. That's the purpose of it. Like it was very deliberate that it feel closer to like how space travel probably would be at that point in time. But yeah.
In addition to setting up in this world the conflict between the Centauri and the Narn, the feel of the station and getting around the station and getting to kind of know what that world is going to look like and how we're going to inhabit it through the next 5 years. We also get Ivanova sharing why she's not comfortable with winter. I mean, she avoids her all of 41 minutes and then sort of says, this is my deal with you, lady. But it does set up more than just Ivanova. It sets up a lot about the Psi Corps and gives us, in the gathering, the Psi Corps seemed like, oh, kind of a cool organization.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
They're just administering the telepaths. Cool.
Right.
That makes sense.
And then you find out, oh, this is darker, more sinister, and kind of creepy in all the ways.
Absolutely. They did I rewatched the Midnight on the Firing Line earlier today. And, now kind of being where I am, I'm like, they did a lot of world building and setup for the things to come in this episode. More that I appreciate now, right? That I'm farther along than I did when I was watching. I was like, oh, stop talking. But now I'm just like, oh, this is going to pay off. So that was kind of impressive.
Yeah.
All right, shall we launch our Star Furies for this episode? I'm gonna give it 3 out of 4 Star Furies. How about you, Trevor?
You're stealing my thunder. I was gonna go for 3 as well.
Joanne, how many Star Furies are you sending for this episode?
Yeah, my gut reaction was also 3. So we're a hive mind.
Yeah, 3. But also a 3. Yeah, it does it does what it needs to do, but I don't think it's not a super impactful episode. I mean, like it's setting up a lot, but I don't think that the overall plot of it is really like the best of this season.
Yeah. All right, episode 2.
Soul Hunter. Babylon 5's alien residents fear the alien soul hunter Sinclair rescues from a disabled spaceship, and it is there to steal their soul. That's a lot of
Shock dot.
Soul and spaceship over and over again. I appreciate these descriptions much better than the Google ones we use for comedic relief on Thumb Wars, but they are written like for people who've never seen science fiction before. Also, it takes place in space.
The soul hunter shows up to steal souls because he's hunting souls.
Because it's called Soul Hunter. Shocker.
The alien residents. No, it's just the Minbari. Like,
yeah, they're the only ones that were upset by him. Yeah.
But despite what will, spoiler alert, be a fairly low rating for this episode, I will say it does give us a little bit more information into and insight into the Minbari as a spiritual people.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
Delenn and Sinclair's friendship as well gets explored a little bit in this episode.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like I appreciate like. Normally, I'm not one for making a female character hysterical, but the way they do it with Delenn, it's kind of camp. Like, she goes for the gun and, like, she's going to shoot through the glass. Like, you dumb bitch. Like, you're not... Come on. You're smarter than that. You are Satai Delenn. What is going on here? But it also serves to illustrate how passionately she feels about the situation.
Yeah,
she loses her sensibility.
Yeah, it's so hard to avoid spoilers, but like I think it makes so much more sense later in the show why they're so upset about this and the specific the soul hunter, the specific species and how it relates to them. So like it contextualizes later, but out of context of what happens in future seasons, it seems crazy. It's like this woman is nuts.
Yeah,
this person. I think. Yeah,
she's a girl. She's a woman.
Or she's woman, right? I keep thinking back about how, like, in that pilot,
gathering, yeah, we're not.
The gathering where they were like,
hey, we're not going to talk about that.
Weird. That voice changing with her,
with together.
her like Yugoslavian accent is just so strange. Anyway, but yeah, it contextualizes later better. But this episode is like kind of the second episode of the series is a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, okay.
That happens a lot in sci-fi, especially in like Star Trek. Like, this is your second episode. You have them all drunk and not acting normal. Okay. The second episode here, like, introduce a soul hunter that we're not going to see why it's relevant for 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm. Right. We're not going to know why this is. I mean,
important. They say enough in the episode, but like, yeah, it gets explored. But yeah. Any other thoughts on this episode before we launch some Star Furies at it?
I mean, I know it's not popular, but this is actually the episode that did it for me. That was like, okay, I'm all in. Just because it shows that they're asking, I think, some really different questions than a lot of, what was on television not even at the time, even today, right? That I was like, this guy's not playing around. So it was, a little campy and a little crazy, but it also, I thought, was really smart. And that's where I said, okay, I'm going to take this ride. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a good tone setter because you go, oh, it's not trying to rehash Star Trek. It's doing something different with science fiction. Yeah. That's true. It's kind of a mold breaker episode.
I won't do this for every episode, but there's an interesting behind the scenes note that I found that just says that apparently when the Soul Hunter is on his way to find the commander, he passes a sign on the wall that says security area, but security is spelled SECURTY, and it was an
Security?
intentional. It was
Security?
security. It was an intentional phonetic misspelling for the purposes of showing that English signage in this particular century, things would be spelled in a way that would allow aliens to read them as they're like
As
if they
it
know
should
what
be said. Yeah.
as they should be said. Although
AVs through the ages. Yeah.
Security.
Security.
So there it is.
Mall security.
You're welcome, folks.
Anybody seen Drawn Together on Comedy Central? That
Oh yeah,
absolutely
ages
insane.
ago.
Yeah, Foxy Cleopatra yelling for mall security. The show is so problematic, but I loved it. They threw
That
a
show
gay
is so
bash.
deeply problematic.
It like I'm pretty sure if you showed that to a Gen Xer, they might explode. It's
a Gen Zer. They're so
Gen
fucking
Z. Sorry,
good,
Gen
man.
Z. Yeah, Gen Z.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Gen X
Show it to a
shit.
Zoomer. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over. They might have a brain aneurysm.
That shit was so funny. Like when Link comes out and they're like, we're gonna throw a good old fashioned gay bash, and then it cuts to them throwing a party to celebrate him coming out. It was it's a gay bash. Okay, how many Star Fury should we launch for Soul Hunter? It's a 2 for me, dog.
Mm-hmm.
2 of 4
The
Star
2.
Fury.
I'm going. Oh, sorry,
Trevor.
No, I was just gonna say I'm going rogue here, and I'm calling it 1.5. I know that's not a thing, but it is now.
You're just gonna cut off one of your arms for
one of my Star Furies is on is like spiraling toward the station. Yeah.
Well, I'll make it the whole number, and I'll be 2.5. Because again, math, right? Yeah.
There is a fun thing I'm tracking with respect to our scoring, and more to come on that.
See, Joel's closer to me. He said 3 from the chat.
3 from the chat. 3 from the chat, Mama.
Oh, speaking of 3, episode 3.
Okay. Oh, hang on.
That was a good segue, Stan. You're
Thank
coming
you.
up in the world. Coming up in the world.
Born to the Purple, Londo falls for a nightclub dancer who tries to get confidential information from him. I mean, sort of.
I mean, yeah. I don't know why I balked at nightclub dancer, because that's what she is.
I mean, she's a working woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a weird one.
Yeah. I love how
ahead.
much he loves purple. The Purple Files. Later
fabulous.
on, he's gonna collapse as he's saying, "But in purple, I am stunning."
Yeah.
I love Londo. He's nuts in the best way.
This episode also kind of turned it around for me for Londo. Like, he was I didn't know what was happening kind of in the first episode with him, but kind of seeing him with the Dira, and just the impact that had, like, relatable content, right? Like, oh my gosh. So I was just like, oh, he's not horrible. And I love shows where characters are just shades of gray, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to black and white things, but it is a far more compelling story to tell when everybody has a spectrum of moral and ethical perspectives. So
I also like that, like, this episode kind of just says flat out, sex work is work. Like, they don't make it weird that she is a slave and a dancer. Like, most other slave stories go in very weird, different, traumatic directions. This one is like, well, there's a contract and it's not right, but it exists. And then, like, Londo treats her with respect, and it's the other guy that's the problem. And, like, there's a little bit of, like, white knighty tropiness, but I feel like Babylon 5 does these kinds of episodes much better with more sensitivity and just fully said sex work is work. Like the fact that she's a dancer is not an issue here. Like she's being coerced for other reasons, and there was no moral quandary around the payment aspect.
It was
Yeah.
very much, can you make a hoe a housewife, and which I appreciate it, because yeah, hoes are people too. Uh,
What I keep saying.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. This sets up a lot of stuff later from Malari, but like it is again in terms of like action and like a fun episode, it's kind of just it plots along. There's a little bit here and there, but I don't know. I think the stuff with Ivanova is interesting too. With her dad, I think is really good, and it shows a lot about her character too. So there's some good stuff there. It's just, yeah, it's a lot of seed. These early episodes are a lot of seed planting, and you're just like, why are we putting a seed here for this? And you're like, oh, because this will grow into something 4 seasons from now.
Yeah,
There's
a reason Ivanova is so private.
Yeah.
But also the sort of invasion by Garibaldi of her privacy leads to a connection between the two of them. I mean, at the end, Susan knows that Michael knew that it was her. Like,
yeah.
They don't. There's no dialogue, but there's a lot of looks between the two of them of like, I know that you know that I know, but we're not going to talk about it.
Like, and I know that.
Yeah, we know. Yeah,
and their kinship is actually lovely too, because there's never even a hint of with the commander and her, with her and Garibaldi, with her and the doctor. Like these people have good, solid platonic work friendships, and like her and Garibaldi always seemed like almost like brother and sister at times in this episode in particular.
And I wonder how much of that bled into sort of the actual real life. There was a very close relationship between a lot of these actors, but Claudia and Jerry in particular became very close friends in terms of just sort of, that brother sisterly bond seemed to maybe mimic real life, or real life mimic their characters. But in reading, a lot about both of them, there was definitely a connection between them. It's kind of cute to see form here.
And for that reason, I'm launching 3 of my 4-star Furies in this episode.
I'm also launching 3.
Yeah, I think it's a 2. It's a 2 from me.
It's 4 for me. I loved it.
Oh, okay.
I loved it.
All right, next episode.
Next episode is Infection. An artifact brought onto Babylon 5 by Dr. Franklin's mentor turns his assistant into a killing machine.
The special effects on the show, in some ways groundbreaking, in others, woof. I remember seeing this one and I'm like, oh, yeah. And God love Franklin, but this is the first of several of his mentors that come to the station and cause problems.
It's such a bad foot to start this character on. Like, it's such a bad foot. I don't know. This is like my least favorite of this season, I think.
Yeah.
Looking at my notes, I just wrote "ugh" next to this episode, so I guess I didn't really like it. Oh my God.
There are a lot of signs that this show took place in the 90s, but the biggest is the treatment of Dr. Franklin as a character in general. He comes off much less like. There are absolutely times where he rises to the occasion as a physician and as somebody who has dedicated his life to healing But there are many, many more times where he is a character in a drama who works in the medical field versus being a physician, and that's okay. Like it is a product of its time, as all media is, and so what are you gonna do? But yeah, sometimes the problem is Steven.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's very
it's
Bashir, like to me, like first season Bashir, like hot doctor, very smart, but wanting to be out with the people doing the fucking frontier medicine and shit. I just so many problems for me. So many
yeah.
problems for me.
This might be controversial yet brave, but Dr. Franklin is my least favorite character out of all of them. Like I find his episodes to be other than one, which I think is one of the better episodes of his best episode, I think, but one of the best episodes of the series. I find every episode that he is the center of to be a slog, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's like I don't like the character Franklin. I don't know. I don't think it's the actor. I just think the character is there's aspects of his character I find annoying. He seems very his energy is gross to me. It's aggressive, but not in a way where it's like he's just like a mean person. He just seems mean to me. So I'm not my favorite. I don't enjoy him as a character on the show.
I think it's because they write him as a dramatic character in the medical field first and a physician second. Like he doesn't, because even when he's passionate about treating his patients, it comes out like, where is this coming from? Like
You're a dick. Like God, just yeah.
We're many seasons away, but he juxtaposes against Marcus, a character that's coming in a couple of seasons, really well. There's some fun stuff happening, but this first season, some of these episodes, I'm just like, why? This is.
It also felt like they weren't quite sure what to do with him. Where it's just sort of like, well, we gotta have a doctor.
Yeah.
Let's hire the doc guy, and then we'll figure out what to do with him later. I mean, I already knew what to do with him when I saw him, but they might not.
Indeed.
I mean,
and for those reasons and more, it's a 1-star Fury launch for me.
Same girl. Yeah. I felt so dumb. Like I didn't understand any of this shit in this episode. Like, what is happening? One.
Yeah, it's a 1. It's a 1 for me. It's the weakest of the season, I think. It's just not we start off on the wrong foot with Sinclair, and it just continues. We keep stepping on Legos on that bad foot constantly.
Are we ready for the next episode?
Indeed.
The Parliament of Dreams. An assassin stalks Jakar while a conference on the religious beliefs of various alien cultures takes place. Sinclair meets an old girlfriend.
Okay. I thought we weren't reading bad ones. That's a stretch, Mama.
Things that I like about this episode: diverse cultures being highlighted as a good thing. Catherine Sakai, I really like the actress. I do not get her in Sinclair. I don't get Sinclair in anybody. The actor, the character always creeped me out. Sorry to that dead man. Just did not ever understand it.
Can that be a new thing? Like apologies to the dead man? Like we just put up a
apologies to that dead man. Yeah.
We say God bless the dead. But
yeah. R.I.P. Diva.
And I thought the ending was kind of cool, where he's like, I'm just going to show you all of the religions of Earth. But then at the same time, it was like, you're going to meet these people and not know anything about those religions. But it at least highlighted that in the future, look at this long line of religions and that all these people are on Babylon 5. It's a really cool thing to see that it will, the diversity of this planet will continue to be a thing beyond Donald Trump's reign.
Hmm.
So say we all. Different franchise. We'll get there eventually.
Yeah,
I really liked it. Oh, go ahead, Will.
No, go for it, Joy.
I was saying I really liked it because I think it because of again, I don't there's no secret. Religion's kind of my thing that I like to do and talk about. But I love the fact that a science fiction show took religion seriously, because Star Trek just kind of throws it away like we've evolved beyond religion. Well, no, we haven't. It might be, I maintain we all worship something. Something's your religion, right? It might be different, than
Dick.
this otherworldly character or whatever. But, we may have evolved beyond some things and science has gotten us somewhere. But baby, you invest in something, you worship something. And I appreciate it that they took that seriously and found that these kind of beliefs, whatever they are, tell you a lot about the person, and what you can expect from them. I mean, that was my big takeaway from this. Like, who are you? Show me who you are. Show me where you spend your money. Show me what you believe, right? So I appreciated that a lot, actually.
Yeah. This is another good like mold breaking episode in terms of like sci-fi shows of the time. And I think it starts to set up the like kind of the theme that I think runs through most of the show is that of transcendence, and it like what that means in its various forms and what that means through like religion and faith and like like just like I don't want to say human spirit, but like this individual spirit, like what that means, because so many people transcend past things as the series goes on, and then we see that like happen like also like in ways that's like magic almost that like could be perceived as like certain things and like religious and aspects and stuff that happens, and it's an interesting way to point it out that it's still there and it's still very prevalent, and that that religion is just not going to go away as we develop faster than light travel, which seems to be the case for Star Trek in the most part. But yeah, it's a good. I think this is like this is an episode that I found myself enjoying the last time I watched it more than previously.
Yeah, I think this one for me, to Will's point, actually to everyone's point, really, it establishes that. But I appreciate the diversity aspect of it. The message of the story appears to be, humans are not a monolith. Unfortunately, it seems like every other alien race is, but humans are not. So that's helpful.
Yeah.
But also that humanity remains a spiritual people. Like we went headfirst into it with Soul Hunter for the Minbari, but to actually acknowledge that humanity remains, we didn't shed anything just because we developed technology, to Will's point. Like that there's I get Gene's point of veering away from sort of organized faith, but that Star Trek always feels a need to depict faith through aliens, and Babylon 5 does not. To me, means that B5 tackles that particular subject better than Trek does. So I appreciate it for that.
And for that reason, I'm giving it 4 Star Furies.
Look at you. I gave it 3.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 3 just because I think the dialogue in some places it's a little stilted, but I think it keeps it. I think a 3 is like a good choice for me.
Yeah, it's a 3. It's a 3. A high 3.
A capital 3.
A capital 3.
Capital 3. Yes.
Security, come get him.
Security.
Next episode, Mind War. Y'all are going to love this description, so buckle up. I'm trying not to do bad descriptions like I do on Thumb Wars, but I can't help it sometimes. I don't write these. Maybe I'm going to start writing them to make them better. Mind War. Talia's
That's what we
former.
should do.
I will.
A
Actually,
supplement
I'm gonna do
to the
mine, and then I'm gonna
Salon.
steal yours
Yes.
from
from Bluesky.
Blue
Yeah.
Sky.
Yeah, those are good. I love those.
Okay. New rule for next episode. But anyway, what Amazon says is Talia's former lover and teacher, who can kill with pure thought, flees from the cops and ends up on Babylon 5.
That's not as bad as you set it up to be. That is accurate.
Okay, but it sounds like but for the killing with pure thought, it sounds like it's like a Miami Vice episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's fleeing from the cops.
Yes. And that he's just like
'Cause he's
this
gonna-
random ass killer, just like looking at people like, I don't like your pants, die, bitch. You know.
And he's like,
that description's like a
telling-
particularly early bad episode of the X-Files. Like that's what it reads like.
yeah, good call out, Joel, in the comments. Babylon 5 with its teacher lovers.
Mhm. Yeah, teacher lovers. Yeah.
Also, just the 90s overuse of the term lover.
Yeah.
Like,
We were lovers.
y'all was fucking.
Yeah,
it's
that-
fine.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
I also
I don't know why that's disgusting.
I think it's kind of a trope when in any media somebody asks a question, do you know what it's like when, and then like there is no universe in which the person you are asking that question would say, oh yeah, it makes total sense. Like she's like, do you know what it's like when two telepaths make love? How the fuck would the commander know that, Talia?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. He's like, yes, I have a.
Actually, I do. I was in Vegas and these telepaths were in the room next to me, and oh boy, did they suck my brain into their lovemaking. I was stuck, and
Oh God, could that happen?
it becomes a completely different
Could you
episode.
imagine? That should be an episode, like kind of like the Beta Z virus. Like, you know, you get a
Yeah.
cold and you just, blast your feelings all
Yeah.
over everybody.
The sex was so good that it psychically connected everyone. That's.
It became a mind orgy.
Every
Oh,
time you
God.
sneeze, someone has. Never mind.
Oh, God.
I like this episode. I like when Talia gets some attention.
Cyclops. First time.
Yes. Oh yes, this is when we meet Bester,
We
Esther.
meet Bester.
and
That was
they
exciting.
yeah they walk around Talia to scan her in that weird way. They do away with that, thankfully, but yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that you know that Walter read the script and was like, "Oh, the camera's gonna move around us." Like, no. The camera's gonna stay still. We need you guys to walk in the circle.
Walk around.
Yeah.
Like, ring around the rosy.
He eats this role up. He is so good throughout
He
the
is.
show. Like it's like,
Yeah,
oh
he
yeah,
only gets better. Like this is
Yeah.
he sets a pretty high bar for like the villains of the show, but like his character is so like as a villain, you just like he comes on an episode, you're just like, ooh, it's gonna get good. Like this
Yeah.
is gonna get weird or good. Like
he's like
yeah.
the Kai Wynn of this show in that way. Like whenever she showed up, you're like, ooh, this bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is about to be juicy.
Mhm.
Somebody's gonna be pissed off.
There's
But
gonna
it
be some
also-
chaotic mess.
He also though highlighted like how B level some of the other actors are too.
Yes.
So you take the good, you take the bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've said this to Trevor a lot. I love this show, and the main cast, for the most part, knocks it out of the park. Some of the guest actors, like, ooh,
Or
girl,
just
when you,
trash mama. Like
Yeah. when you meet, there is a president of a planet you're gonna meet next season, and oh boy, rough. Like, like some of them lean into an accent instead of acting, and it shows.
Yeah.
My entire personality is talking like this for some reason, and that's not the accent at all, but
It's close.
might as well be.
Also, like, no offense to the actor that played Jason Ironheart, but is there a reason he had to wear Dockers and a members only jacket? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird costume, isn't it? Yeah.
Maybe that's what made him hot blend in. I don't know. It was
I don't
weird.
know. Like, given all that we know
Train and
about him,
for
I was
Will.
just like the train, the police,
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh.
the
It's the train
MLM.
diva.
We done heard all of it today.
Sorry.
no, I was gonna say, like, given everything we know about Jason Ironheart, like, at least a sassy hat. Like, he needed
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, he didn't look like his name. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No. He looked like he was on, like, the Saturday circular for Montgomery Wards. Like, he was...
Yeah. He looked
right.
available.
Yeah. Like, go to Zare, get your pants. But
But he
it
could
was
get
very
it.
much like that Star Trek episode with Crusher's favorite patient who then becomes like,
Oh yeah.
the koala or whatever. I yeah.
in his tight pantsuit.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a onesie.
It
Yeah,
was a onesie.
That's what it was. Yeah, onesie.
He got his tight pants on. So yeah.
Showing that
Everybody's
bulge.
talking about my tight pants. I got my tight pants. I love that shit. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway. I digress.
All right. I'm going to mentally tell everybody how many Star Furies.
Oh, only 2.
Indeed.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Yay. I'm also giving it 2.
Yeah, same. It's a 2.
Yeah, it's a 2.
I did like the music. The you can feel her somberness along with
Yeah.
the music. It's very haunting.
I need to learn how to pay attention to the score. I don't.
I only do on like 3rd and 4th watches.
Yeah, I don't. And I'm musically inclined, which is so weird to me, but yeah. I'm like,
This show will
what?
do something later. It happens in the movies a lot more than it happens in the show, but it does happen where people are like yelling orders and you're seeing a space battle and there's music over it. And you're just like, I don't need them. This doesn't make it seem dramatic. And this show does it. And I find it annoying. It just that's how I like very aware of the score sometimes. I'm like, oh, here it is.
Yeah.
It's just some people yelling. And
Or like
there's
every time
they're not
there are
saying anything.
Every time there are sparks, there's a symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a little it gets sometimes the music I'm like, girl, no.
Yeah, maybe some decaf. Are we ready for the warp rare?
Sure.
Yes.
Susan meets her old lover, who is now part of a pro-Earth terrorist group that plans to kill an alien ambassador on Babylon 5.
They did her so dirty in this episode. Could they not have found someone hot to be her former lover? Like, I get that he's evil and we get, like, you get the face you deserve, but...
You're not wrong.
Well,
I had no trouble believing Sinclair when he was pretending to be racist. He did that very well.
I mean, you kind of have to think he did fight them in Bari and, went through some things with them. So, yeah, he probably didn't have to dig that deep for that shit to come up.
not at all.
I thought this was a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
Written by DC Fontanter of
Star Trek fame,
of
yes.
Star Trek fame. It had all the things: racism, riots, all of that. It was pretty good. Although the plan was kind of obvious, right? But
Yeah.
This isn't an episode that I'm like having to read the description. I don't remember this at all. So sorry to this man.
Yeah, the Minbar. This is the one where the Minbari gets branded.
Yeah.
And she decides to keep it as a symbol to others or whatever. Like sometimes the Minbari are a little like they are so extra and so dramatic. Like,
yeah,
girl, just let him take care of the scar.
Like
This is why I always say that the Minbari are not Vulcans. They are Vulcans and Klingons mushed together.
they are. Yeah, they are.
So dramatic.
But no, it was. I don't know. It was decent.
Yeah,
I'm gonna launch 3-star Furies.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I think
Yeah,
I'm there with you.
I like the message that it sent, and I like that it gave Ivanova something to do. Like she doesn't get enough in this first half of the season. More is coming, but yeah.
It's 2 for me because of the branded Minbari actress. her performance
very pointed. Yeah.
a little painful.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, I will say the Minbari, I think where they get mistaken for Vulcans so much, it comes from their arrogance as a like judgment of humans when they're doing the thing that they're judging us for doing. Like, girl, you're
very Vulcan-y.
Yeah, you're being very prejudiced yourself right now, poet.
Yeah.
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 Will, did you rate this one?
2.
2 for you?
Yeah, only because I didn't remember it.
Joanne?
Yeah, it's a 3 for me, dog.
Okay. I believe we're moving on to And the Sky Full of Stars. 2 mysterious men kidnap Sinclair in hopes of learning what happened during his 24-hour blackout at the Battle of the Line. One of them was a former lover. No, I made
that.
It was the drug pusher guy from TNG, the Brekka, Bakari, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Brekka.
I don't remember why they care so much. Like,
I don't think it was clear in this episode either.
Like, I get why, like, it's important for the overall story. It's important for Sinclair and his connection to the Minbari, to Delenn. But, like, why these 2 people are like, hey, this military guy can't remember 24 hours that happened during this traumatic battle. Let's go to the space station he commands and try and figure out what he can't remember. Like, I get why Sinclair would want to know. Why do they want to know so badly?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a good question because they don't really give motivation to why those guys are doing that. It's just like, oh, this guy who's a war hero doesn't remember this. And it's like, that's strange. Yeah.
He must be a traitor. Let's get him. What?
Yeah, it's another seed episode because it doesn't pay off until much later, and like it does pay off, but this is like the first example of like, oh, they're doing you won't understand as a standalone episode. This episode just doesn't function well. You're left with more questions than answers, but that's really what it's there to do. So I can't fault it, but
yeah.
Doesn't give you any nugget. It doesn't give you anything that's like it could be going this way or like a little. They answer a question with another question. It's just a real good list of questions, and they kind of walk away from it.
Yeah,
This is like a Sinclair Smash one though, and don't we seem like I'm gonna?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah,
yes, he goes full on. I forgot I was just a human. I do remember when this one aired thinking, and I'm sure there were other lines in other episodes, but like at the time I was watching it as a tween/teen, it felt like this was the first real callback to The Gathering. and information he had shared in the gathering, and I thought that was really cool. As far as the execution, I agree with everything everyone's already said. It was just a neat callback.
Yeah. Like, rawr.
And I think Mira Forlan is probably this is probably her best episode, just acting wise. I think she's doing a great job, like conveying like the kind of this kind of weird deviousness this character has. Like she seems very devious. Like she's always there's always a mystery or something. Like she has knowledge, but she doesn't just withhold it. She kind of teases you with it. Mm-hmm. There's a tease of that, which I think is interesting for her character. And I think I generally think she's really good as Delenn, but this episode I think she gets to shine a little more than previous ones.
I think what I'm hearing you say is that Delenn's a real plot tease.
Yes, exactly. She dangles it there.
And then she snatches it back up.
Delenn is why I'm going to send 2 instead of 1 Star Furies.
Yeah, the 2 for me.
Joanne?
I was reading my thing, so yeah, it's a 2. I said they're exploring Sinclair's gaping memory hole. Which sounds better than it was, right? So yeah.
That's a better description. That'd be a better episode.
Listen, we've all had our memory holes explored. It's a 2 for all of us, so yay for us.
Yeah.
Moving on to Deathwalker. Sorry, that says it all right there, Mike. A war criminal whose experiments on sentient beings have led to an immortality serum comes to Babylon 5.
I love a cartoon villain, and like she is so cartoony. It kind of works in this cheesy ass setting with like all of these other Alien of the Week people. Savick is in this episode as the fish ambassador, demanding a voice.
She is. Yes.
Give us more of that Trek sensitivity, Stan.
The racism is not hard to come to surface, right? Yeah. We do not have to dig deep.
That's a fair call out. That's a fair call in.
God.
But the actress playing Jadur, Deathwalker, I think like she kind of eats it up. She's like, all right, I'm going to be a cartoon villain for this guest acting spot. And it's kind of fun. Everybody else around her, yeah.
I loved it for the old girl just going ham on her. I was all in because she fucking beat her ass.
This version of Natoth is my favorite version.
Indeed. Yeah. Indeed. Like she does not compare. Like I love Grilka Natoth, but this one, like I was just it caught me off guard. I was like, oh my god.
Listen, I don't like waiting at the airport either.
That shit got me together.
She was like, I am waiting at the airport for the ship to come in. I got 11 minutes to kill. I'm gonna knock this bitch out.
Yeah.
I've got 11 minutes to kill this bitch.
Yes.
So.
Yes. It was worth all of it. For that alone.
Yeah, the mysteriousness at the end, like there are a lot of layers in this episode, even though it is kind of cheesy and, like I said, cartoon villainy. But like a subsect of the Minbari have been holding this war criminal, been housing this war criminal, And then at the end, when the Vorlons come through the I keep wanting to say wormhole, which it is a wormhole, but
Jump gate.
Thank you. And destroy the ship and just say, you're not ready for immortality.
You're not ready for immortality. That was my first sign. Like, what's up with these Vorlon?
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody. I was like, this is fucked up. But then nobody checked them either. Like
they know better. They know better. And they're like, oh no, we can't. The Vorlons.
They were like, oh, okay, the Vorlons blew them up. Like, okay, see you next week.
Yeah. Oh, you came to the meeting. That's interesting. Oh, came to the meeting.
Yeah.
From then on, every time he shows up, you're just like, oh shit, who's gonna die?
Mm-hmm.
In a season so far that has been trying to subtly plant seeds and be very subtle in what they're doing and build and stuff, this episode just being like the most unsubtle, fucking crazy ass episode is so funny. Like, just like, it's like, oh, it's such a great like palate cleanser, I guess. But yeah, that moment where she just beats her ass at the it's so funny.
And her like revenge moment with Jakar, she's like, I'll give you what you ask for one more thing. The head of the animal who attacked me within 1 hour. As he storms out, just cackling. She ate that shit up.
Yeah.
I think I would have appreciated this episode more and leaned more into the camp and scenery chewing of it all if they had made different makeup and costuming choices for Deathwalker, because when she's in her full garb and the makeup, it's giving me like Box of Animal Cracker vibes. Like it feels like she's like the lioness who is in charge of the circus. Like it just it just doesn't work.
The uniform gives me very like Rodgers and Hammerstein, like HMS Pinafore. It's very like it's a little like oh, I'm a modern Major Gentleman moment. I'm like, oh god, is she gonna? It's very that, yeah.
No offense to musical villainesses and villains, but like waiting for the bad guy to break into song is not intimidating. So
showing up like an extra from Pirates of Penzance, it's like, girl, we're not doing this.
Yeah. Which might be where they got that costume after all, now that you say that. But yeah.
Right. As soon as you said it, I'm like, accurate. Right?
I also did like the politics of the show, like seeing how it like there's this League of Non-Aligned Worlds where like you're not important enough to get a vote in certain matters, and this is the Security Council with the 5 major players. And highlights the problem that kind of system has. We see it in the real world all the time with, the one vote on the Security Council at the UN can stop humanitarian aid from getting where it needs to go and shit like that.
It also gives like everybody else vibes.
Yeah.
They're like, here are the people that we're going to name. And then there's everybody else.
Yeah.
And we're going to put the same actor in several different ambassadorial makeup. But we'll get there next season. But I'm like, I'm sorry, is that the Drazi ambassador? It is.
I did like it was kind of the other side or a different angle, probably not the exact polar opposite, but a different angle of the soul hunter dynamic, in kind of life and value and and killings. What happens when you die, who needs to die. It was another unpacking, I think, of that. So I thought that was really actually very smart. And very interesting. But yeah, I was sold when she beat her ass. So
the beating Natoth is great. Like I said, Ambassador Savick of the Calamari, just incredible all around. I forget that Nikili. What are they called?
I'm like, were they called calamari?
I'm calling them calamari from now on. They are straight up an appetizer species.
It's I'm sending out 4-star Furies for this one. I think this is a great episode. As cheesy as it is, like it does camp cheesiness really well.
I agree. It's a 4.
Well,
That's a 3 from me. It's a 3.
I gave it 1.
Oh wow! Hell yeah! Hell yes! Hell yeah!
Work,
am-
work.
1.
I am
She was
Nicole.
not amused.
I am
Trev was
Nicole
not
Flip
amused.
encountering polenta. I don't like it.
He was like, "I'm not here for HMS pin a bitch. Like, get out of here."
Although, if there were a drag brunch that I was invited to, and it was called HMS Pin a Bitch, I would go.
Yeah.
I would
See,
be there
Joe loved it.
as a.
Joe says Wikipedia says they're the Kalika.
Ambassador Kalika
Kalika. Oh.
or Calica. I think
Calica. I don't.
he says
Of the
Calica.
calamari.
Of the calamari.
Yeah, it's a little too close. It's a little too
Of the
close.
calamari with the horseradish dipping sauce. Yeah.
The only way you can damage
bathe in horseradish.
Yeah.
the only way you can damage one of their ships is with a harpoon.
Or an appetizer for it.
Believers.
Yeah. I'm hungry. I need a sandwich.
All right,
Ooh,
let's
okay.
get back to Dr.
Y'all came around to my subtle racism that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, we do not have to dig deep, honey.
It was the Loxana that said that the Antedians look better in sauce. So
Yes.
you're in good company. Just put on a wig and some oversized jewelry and you're good to go. Anyway, back to Dr. Topme. Dr. Franklin is troubled when the religious beliefs of a boy's parents prevent him from performing a life-saving operation on him. Pretty accurate.
That's not a bad description, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I want to like this episode, but I feel like the plot is too simplistic. It feels very let this be your last battlefield. It feels very chosen realm in that, like, what if he falls and cuts himself? Like, what if, like, how did these people get spacefaring if they don't allow surgery, or not surgery, but like scalpel surgery to be cut into like food animals? Like, it just left me with a lot of questions. Like, well, what if he fell on a rock and cut himself that way? Would you kill him? Like, how did you get into space?
Maybe.
I think
Right.
in a non-prime directive world, I think there's a lot of people in space that didn't get there on their own.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this is a great example, actually, really, of how mythology and lore developed. There probably was a very real world, real life kind of experience that happened. And, you cut yourself and somebody saw, whatever, some shit leak out, or the infection set in and they died. And it was probably an animal, right? And then, but over time, that belief becomes, something else, to the point where it becomes fanaticism in their religion. Like, that's very much how that happens, right? So it doesn't make practical sense, but that kind of is why it's a faith issue, right? So it's very much how that happens. So I was into this episode. Plus, it was Rachel Garrett.
Yeah. This is the one episode that I think it's Dr. Franklin's best episode. Not in a good way. I think it's the one that he's the most tolerable. Like, I think his character, the way he's kind of has developed this early in the series, kind of, it makes sense that he would do this, because he's kind of a shit doctor. Like, he's not doing, he's making decisions for people, and I think that's like based on his own morals. And the twist that the child dies anyway is kind of the kicker. I don't know. It's good that this is a good tone setting episode for the rest of the series, where it's trying to be mature. It's trying to do something that's thought provoking. It's trying to, like, kind of, this is the most anti Star Trek episode. Because if this would have been an episode of Star Trek, the child would have lived, the parents would have been like, thank you. There would have been some type of, they would have like, the Captain Picard would have made a rousing speech about, you can't let this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You would get some rousing speech and everyone would leave, and then they'd warp off to the next thing. So like, but to have like a consequence to this action that actually makes sense with the fanaticism of these parents, even though how illogical it is that this spacefaring species can't expose any type of their innards outside, which doesn't make any sense how they like do any type of medicine at all. It doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, other than that, I think it's one of Dr. Franklin's best episodes, but that's a very low bar to clear at this point, at least.
I also found myself really enjoying the other Doctor, and I was like,
yeah,
let's have her back. I like her attitude.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this episode for a couple of different reasons. One, Dr. Franklin. Two, I think Will said it best when he said this isn't Star Trek, but like this is the most anti-Star Trek episode. But I think it's almost on. I don't know. I didn't crawl inside his head, but I would assume it's almost on purpose to say this isn't Star Trek. Like this in Star Trek, you're right, everything's happy, and then in this, it's like no, his parents straight up killed him. Like there was no parent murdering their child in Star Trek. So I appreciated it for that. I appreciated it for thank you for your morality, but we're not going to let you impose it on us. It was the idea that technology, knowledge, wisdom, years of experience didn't win. These people just were like, no, there is a way for me to enact my beliefs and for me to maintain them. And it poses a very clear, it creates a very clear description and a very clear analysis of why someone who operates solely on belief can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And and the other side of it too, like Franklin came from the gate just disrespecting them, and demeaning them and like, shut up, I'm the doctor, like y'all are being dumb, and they were like, fuck you. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, no, you're you're soulless and godless. They each had weight, and both were, and there were problems and flaws. You know what I mean? Just all around. But I also love this episode because Sinclair also did something very anti Star Trek, or and like, because Franklin was like, well, you did it before when we did it for Kosh, and Sinclair was like, you know what, maybe I need to reevaluate that shit, or you know what I mean, or this is not that, and if I do this now, it's going to set up a dangerous precedent. They never say that shit, and you know what I mean, they just either ignore it in Star Trek, or they try to explain it away, or come up with some. They were like, you know what, I made the best decision then. It might have been fucked up, but I'm not going to do it again. I loved that.
Yeah.
I love that because that's how we navigate, right? There's not some cute transporter trick or some, some rhetoric that we can say to convince the parents of theirs of the way. They're like, no, we are fine with who we are, So I loved it. I loved the greatness, again, the greatness, just all of that. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
I am going to launch 3 Star Furies at it.
It's a 4. It's a 4. It's a 4.
Yeah, I think this is my F4 for me.
It is a 4 for me as well.
So, fuck you, Stan.
Yeah.
You just sit there and be wrong.
Fair enough. Captain Garrett and I making bad choices.
Sure. Well,
hair,
this would
though.
be an ongoing theme with this actress and the roles she takes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. And bad hair too. Like,
Girl.
like, bitch, you don't know what wigs look good on you.
I liked her Captain Garrett wig, but also, spoiler for later, she plays the Earth Alliance president in a prequel movie. One scene, incredible speech, acts her fucking ass off, just sitting at a desk calling for people to rise up, and she's fucking great in it.
For what was probably one day of work, because I'm sure that was shot in a day, and like you're right, acted her ass off in that scene. So
I wanted to hop in a Star Fury and go kill some Minbari on the line,
or just fly away quickly.
Well,
it changed my mind. Episode 11, Survivors. This is the shortest description that I've read thus far. Garibaldi is framed for causing a fatal explosion.
And speaking of bad guest actors,
woo, honey.
Yeah.
She was terrible.
She was terrible.
I don't know what show she was in, but it wasn't
she looks
the
very
one
familiar.
No, I just mean when she was acting in this episode.
Oh.
Like, I don't know where. Like, was she like out of body and like it was like Babylon 5 was happening around her, and she was in an episode of like Dynasty. I didn't quite.
Yeah.
Okay, this guy was my uncle. He used to be drunk. Oh no, he got drunk again, and I'm just going to be very bitchy about it and very stone-faced.
It was giving me season 1 of 90210 vibes.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Like he was drinking. Now. Dylan was drinking. Like it was a lot.
He had an alcohol. Yeah. Very that.
I want you all to know I smoked pot.
Oh, is this the Seventh Heaven reference?
Yes.
I smoked a weed. Dramatic music. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck this lady. Sorry. Yeah. Terrible. Yeah, this episode sucked.
Yeah.
I wrote on this. All I wrote on this one was yes, let's attack the man who has problems with drinking. like it's very like your problem is alcohol. It's like but like he also he has a disease, like it's addiction. Like he has an alcohol problem. Like there's no compassion for him, and it's just like the alcoholism makes you bad man, and it's like he's done some bad shit, but like
what will help this alcoholic if I act like a complete bitch to him, cut him out of my life, give him no support. I'm sure he won't turn to the drink again.
Yeah. No, I should not support that. It's bad. It's not like I don't know. It's just this was just a oof. No.
She did all of those things, and then she went to the peach pit and talked about him to everyone else. Sorry, more
she has a tiny mouth. She's always pursing her lips. Every time you see her, it's like she's just pursing her lips the whole time. It's like,
of course,
relax your mouth, bitch.
Of course she did, William. He had the alcohol.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes. She's like, he had the alcohol. Yes.
Not to mention this happened when she was young.
Yeah.
Okay, and now she's an adult. So I get it being angry and carrying something. I do. But he was like, hey, let's talk about it. Because that's what adults do. And she's like, no, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
And how she was in charge of presidential security was insane.
And she's like 5. Like, why is she in charge? Like, that usually requires some experience, not just like small mouths and attitudes. Like, how did you get to this position? Also, why does it look like you're wearing your father's uniform? It looked like, again, no dig to costuming, but it looks like it's oversized. She stole it, and like she's not really in charge of presidential security. Like maybe her dad is, and she's just pretending this whole time. Like it's very strange.
It's 2 kids. It's her and her sister in a trench coat.
And they're standing, and they're both standing on top. They're both
on their shoulders. Yeah.
It's a 1-star Fury for me.
Yeah, it's a real limp one for me.
Yeah, it just falls out of the bay. It doesn't even blast out.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's a one. Although this is also another one where it's like, oh, she's reasonable now, so let's take her hair down. What
Yes.
is JMS and this hair thing? Like I'm going to write about this hair. But yeah.
Bad wigs. Oh,
Yeah.
you're cool because you put your hair down now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Your hair's down.
It's very, she took off her glasses and she was hot in
Yeah.
the 1980s.
Yeah, it's very that.
Her
Very
But
hair's
also-
that.
down.
Blind and unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tripping over things. Yeah.
You
But
know,
she's hot, so
all
it's
you need-
fine.
She's all you need to do is take your hair down.
Anybody
Suddenly-
else love Teen Witch like me? Yeah. She spins around and then suddenly it's just her hair is down, no glasses, and that was the magic spell to make her hot and popular. Fuck off. I love that movie so much.
Did you do that a lot as a child, Stan?
Why isn't it working?
Just in your
How
room
about now?
spinning and crying. Like, oh.
Throwing my glasses on the bed. Why?
I always wondered how Wonder Woman got her person glasses back.
Oh,
She would
yeah.
take
Right.
them off and throw them and then spin and then end up like on another continent with her person glasses. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but how did they? You left them in an alley in New York. Now you're in California. Anyway,
Well, you know the answer
Yeah.
though.
magic. Oh, her prison pocket.
Right up her diaper.
Oh, God. This is a lot of glasses. Maybe that's it.
And that's today's episode of Salon 5. Join us next time where we will round out season 1 of Babylon 5. Trevor, give us the update, please.
I counted a few things, and it turns out we only launched Ho Squadron twice, so try harder. We accidentally referenced Star Trek 13 times. And in a category I'm calling We Lived by the One, We Died by the One, we agreed on episode ratings 5 times.
Nice.
Oh, great.
Do you have a quick glance in which episode scored highest this season, this half of the season? I would imagine it's Believers.
Believers was super high, as was oh fudge. Give me a second. Somebody sing a song or something.
Math faster.
Which Parliament of Dreams actually scored pretty high for us as well.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, this was lovely. Join us next time. It will not happen at a regular pace, just like Babylon 5 didn't. So you'll see us when you see us. Jump gate sequence activated.
All hands abandon ship. Proceed to the nearest evacuation zone immediately.